All right, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, April 20th, 2020. And today's sponsoring coffee mug is my St. John's High School coffee mug. Here's a nice throwback from St. John's High School when I used to work there. I'm ready to tackle some more integer work with you this week. So again, this week our focus is on integers, and we're going to do a quick review of where we left off last week. Congratulations, everybody that's handing in assignments. You're doing a great job. Thanks again for formatting them all. There is an assignment attached to this one. It's got about 20 or so questions on it that are kind of like this. So the way it works is, since we're looking today at mixing addition and subtraction together, sometimes it's kind of like taking forward steps and backward steps. In a real life situation, you may be earning some money and then spending money, earning money, spending money, spending money, spending money. And in that type of a situation, it's like adding positive is when you're gaining money, but adding negatives is when you're spending money or having money that maybe you owe to somebody else. So there's lots of analogies that we could use to help us understand. It could be, like I said, going up an imaginary skyscraper where ground level is kind of like the integer 0. And it's kind of like when you walk in, you're neither positive or negative. And I want you to picture an imaginary skyscraper going all the way up into the sky, infinite number of floors up, and it has a parkade for cars that goes an infinite level down because it is such a huge building. It needs to have an infinite number of parking levels below 0 or below ground level. And those are things that might be able to help you out. So basically what we've got for the first example, example A, we've got -5 plus -3 subtract -4. So there's two operations that we're dealing with here. We're dealing with an addition and a subtraction. And in this case, they're all negative integers, but we're going to deal with them one at a time. And for us, we are going to complete these from left to right. Later on, as you become a little bit more proficient, as you get to gain a little bit of a math intuition when it comes to integer work, your integer intuition will start to grow, and you might find easier ways to work with some of these values. But for now, we're going to do them one step at a time. -5 subtract or add -3. So -5 plus -3 is our first one, and we're going to do those step by step. If we drew a little bit of work off to the side, we've got -5. Those are going to be our non-shaded, and then we're going to add on 3 more negatives. So each of these is negative. And since we're adding the same signed integers, our answer is going to have the same sign. So this first part becomes -8. And our integer model shows us that there's 8 negatives here altogether. But we're not finished. We need to take -8 now and subtract -4 from -8. So -8 is what this first part gave us. And we're going to subtract -4. That's our next step. You remember last week when we introduced this integer subtraction, there was a rule. Stop for a second and think about it. Do you remember the rule for subtracting integers? Wait. That's right. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It's add the opposite. Every subtraction question can be changed to an addition question. So we keep the first one the same. We're going to add, but we're going to add the opposite of -4, which is +4. So if we started at -8 and we added +4, a picture of that would look a little bit like this. So those are 8 negatives. And if I combine or I put in 4 positives, we'll shade those in. I'm going to have a few 0 pairs. So these will cancel, these will cancel, these will cancel, those will cancel. and what I'm left with is -4. So the answer to our first one, our final answer, is -4. Okay, any questions? I hope not, because I can't hear you. This is on the internet. This is a video lesson. So if you do have questions, send me an email, or you can write messages to me on Google Classroom. A lot of you are doing that, and it works really well. St. John's Tigers. All right, Tiger Pride. Second one, our second question, example B, we got +3. We're going to add on -7. We're going to subtract -3, and then we're going to take away -5, and we're going to do all of this in order from left to right. One strategy I like to use is sometimes underlining the two that I'm working with so that I don't get confused, and I can keep track of the ones that I still have left to deal with. So we'll deal with these ones first. We're going to move a little bit quicker. This is basically a subtraction question. +3 plus -7. So if we use a little bit of a number line model for this one, we'll leave the 0 out. So if we had +3, it would take us this far. And then if we added on -7, you can see that that's going to take us into the negative part of our number line. Negatives are on the left of 0, positives are on the right, and that would take us to -4. -4 needs to be subtracted from -3, our next integer. So we dealt with this one, we dealt with this one, we're dealing with this one right now. So -4 subtract -3, we have a rule for subtraction. Add the opposite. The opposite of -3 is +3. And that part will give us, starting at -3, if we add on 3 positives, it's not quite enough to get us into the positive side of the number line. So it'll be -1. And then that -1 is our final answer. And we still need to subtract our -5. Take away -5. I'm going to cross that one out because we're dealing with that one right now. And this subtraction question can be changed to an addition question. Don't forget, first one stays the same. We're going to subtract by adding the opposite of our second integer. So -1, and we add on 5 positives, that is going to be +4. Now, hopefully, you're starting to pick up some things, and you're starting to see the way addition works. The sign will always be the sign of the greater integer when the greater absolute value of the integer when you're adding. So if we had -6 plus +5, then the answer would still be negative because the absolute value of the -1 is bigger. So hopefully you're picking up on some of those things. There's one other thing that I'd like you to think about. So that's our final answer here for this one. And to get you ready for some of the things that we'll be doing this week, all I want you to do is just think about this for a second. Off to the corner here, save some paper. Is there another way that you could express something like this? Let's say we had +2 plus +2 plus +2. Is there another way to handle a repeated, an addition question like this where we have the same integer being added to itself over and over again? Does that look familiar to any of you? Well, I hope it does. If we did that on a number line to help us get a visual, it would look a little bit like this: +2, add on +2, add on +2, and our answer would be +6. And hopefully these 1, 2, 3 jumps of +2 will help you to remember that this is really 3 groups of +2, which would also have the same answer. So I want you just to think a little bit about that. It might help you with some of the questions on the assignment, and it's definitely going to help you to warm up for next week. Tomorrow, We are going to be doing an IXL assignment, and I'd like you to prepare for that. Get ready. Make sure that you do the assignment on IXL after I explain it to you. Okay, that's the one that I'm going to be looking for tomorrow. So have a good week. Good luck with this assignment. Make sure you send them back to me. Great job. We'll talk to you again soon. Stop recording.